For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Confidence is a wonderful thing, and I think people need more of it. The secret to not giving a crap what people think, coming up on The Scribble, and it starts right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. Our team has worked together for... well, some of us, it's 20 years now. I was having that conversation with Bonnie Winters the other day, our executive producer. We were at her cottage, sitting on the deck, and we met at a publishing company years ago. And then when I started my company, the media company, she came along because we just hit it off so well. And what's interesting though is because it's legitimately the same core group from the beginning. So that's from my newspaper column, from our syndicated radio shows, to our best-selling books, to this podcast, to our e-commerce stores that we have now, and what else is there? My husband's modeling career, our other models that we have that we manage. So, when you've worked together for this long, you would think that we would run out of things to talk about. It's kind of like a marriage. Do you know what I mean? Like, my parents married, 50 years, and I would always laugh when I would be at their house, or if I was thinking, like, when I was a teenager and we would go out to the lake, and it was an hour and a half, maybe, that my parents really didn't even talk to each other. Like, there was just it was the radio that was on, but there was no speaking, there was no talking in the car. I'd be in the back seat, right, my parents in the front, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, they don't even talk to each other. They have not a word to say to each other this entire time, right? That's the total different situation for my husband and me. It's not 50 years, but it's 9 years, I guess it is. 9, it'll be 10 years. I'm a talker, so, I have no problem just coming up with something to talk about. And when we do a road trip, if it's, 2 hours or however long it is, it's not that I'm talking just because I don't like silence. It's just that there's going to be something fun to talk about, or we'll blast some music and sing. But I don't know. I'm not one of those people who just, those people who just feel like they have to be saying something because otherwise. No, it's not like that at all. So one of the conversations that we were having with our group the other week was just not caring what people think about you. And I've been asked that many times. And you have to remember that I've been in the media spotlight for many years. Just all of those projects that I listed, in the newspaper, on the radio, with books, and doing media appearances and whatever. And, very quickly you have to develop a thick skin. And I think, I'll give you an example. So when I was the columnist for the Winnipeg Free, I was a columnist for the Winnipeg Free Press around one of my best-selling books. We would do these video columns and in the business section. And so I would go to the newspaper. We would shoot these videos. We'd do, I think, 3 or 4 of them in like one morning, and then we would just bank them for every week. And then I would go back in a month. I wouldn't have to do it again. And so whatever, they would upload on Mondays or Wednesdays, whatever it was. And then I didn't really think anything of it. It led to book sales, and that was kind of the point of it. And then the newspaper was paying me, so as long as the paycheck was clearing or whatever deposited, then I really didn't care. And so out of nowhere one week, the newsroom had emailed me and said, just a heads up, there's a bunch of comments, we're going to get rid of them. Do you want us to disable the comments on your feature on your section, or just wanted to make you aware? So I didn't care. I didn't know what they were talking about. And so I went and looked, and, there were some comments that just really had nothing to do with the content that we were posting. Somebody who put a screenshot and said, the kind of face that was it the face you want to punch? The kind of face you want to punch, or something like that. Basically just kind of either making fun of my appearance or whatever, or that just didn't like me. And I'd said, thanks for, making me aware of this. Like, it's your paper, right? If it's not how you want your content to be presented, right? That's up to you. I said it doesn't bother me. I said if it's drawing traffic though, and it's getting clicks and it's driving people to watch the video and see why do they want to punch this guy in the face, I'm all for it. I really don't care. I mean, as long if it's driving book sales and it's driving traffic for you guys, I mean, do what you want, but ultimately it's your decision. And so I don't remember what they did actually. I think maybe they just removed those ones and they kept. I think they moderated the comments, I guess is what happened. So anyway. But that was a prime example of I didn't know, and then I didn't care once it was, people are still talking about me. So, as long as they're not threatening violence to come and actually like bash in my face, then, I didn't care. And so there's one of my friends, we had a conversation the other day, and she asked me, kind of point blank, how do you just turn off the caring switch, when somebody says something about you? And I'm not taking a shot at her. I just want to be clear. I'm not mocking her. I'm just saying that this came up in conversation. And so she was asking me, and I said, I don't know exactly kind of when that for me, but I think, a big part of it is when you're out there, you're going to get it from all sides. You're going to get it in emails. You're going to get it in social media comments. You're going to get it in direct messages on social media. I mean, the hosts of The View say that all the time too. Oh, I don't read the comments. And then, in the next segment or the next day, they'll go and talk about what people are saying in the comments about them. So I'm kind of like, well, wait a second. Are you reading them or you're not reading them? Because that doesn't match up then, I truly don't read them. I don't care. Like I said, as long as people are buying the book and the check clears, that's all that matters to me. That's one of my questions. If somebody says, I didn't like your book, did you pay full retail? Because if you didn't, I don't care. I really don't. And so I said, I think a big part of it is first of all, if you're having to deal with it on a daily basis, as I just said, but I think it's also about your upbringing. And if you had parents or teachers or even just in personal relationships, with friends or partners, if you were constantly told how great you are, I think that probably affects you when you get older. And so this is going to sound depressing, but it's not. I think if you go unloved almost all of your life, that's actually probably one of the greatest ways to set yourself up for being one of those not giving a fuck kind of people as you get older. And so what I mean by that is, when I was growing up, I didn't have people telling me that, you're doing a great job, or way to go, or, look, your report card was all A's or whatever. Well, you actually, in grade 7, I had all A's and I had 1 C+ on my report card. Now, my mom was a teacher for 30-some years, so maybe it's a little bit different when, your mom is in that business or industry. So that was what jumped out. Not the A streak. I mean, obviously a C+ is going to jump out, right? Because it's not the same. And so, sure, you'd think, especially from a teacher, you'd celebrate like, oh my God, now we just got to work on getting that B, or, getting that whatever, B+, whatever you want to move it to. But instead, it was almost made to feel like you couldn't get all A's kind of thing. And I'm thinking, God, I had 2 older brothers that weren't even close to getting shit like that in school. So it's not something that made me feel bad about myself. I think it was something that I just kind of filed away and said, I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm going to celebrate that I got all A's and then that 1 C plus and, whatever. So I started to, and I don't remember if that's kind of the first time that I would look at one of my accomplishments and go, okay, well, you know what? I will celebrate me. But certainly as I got older then, again, when I started my newspaper columns or my commentary website, which essentially turned into my newspaper columns, when I had the 1-year anniversary of it, it was in April of that year, or the following year, I put up some balloons, and I was still living with my parents. I put up some balloons in the basement and had like a happy anniversary sign that I'd printed, or congratulations or something. Like I congratulated myself. I celebrated myself. And so, yes, my brothers would come by and go like, what's this, a party? Like, just fucking cheap streamers going on? Like, what's happening? And I said, you know what? It's an accomplishment for me, and I'm celebrating it. And, that's what I did. So that's when I go and say to go your life without being, loved and appreciated is... that made me stronger, not having somebody patting me on the head and congratulations. And so I think that that's maybe where we set people up for, you're constantly getting your ego stroked and being boosted up, which again is fine because if that's helping your self-esteem or whatever, but I think it works against you because look at now, today's society, people are so needy. Well, look at when you watch any of those reality shows, those dating shows, what is one of the key words you hear all the time? Validation. All these people need validation. They need to be seen. I feel heard. I say, here's the thing. I don't need validation from anybody. And I don't seek that from people. I don't fish for compliments. I don't need that. I celebrate my successes, my accomplishments, my achievements, my milestones, my whatever, my obstacles, overcoming my obstacles. I do that all because I'm the only one who's going to celebrate me. The way that I should be. Yeah, you can say that your husband or your partner should do that, or your parents should do that, whatever, but I'm not putting that expectation. If they want to do that, fine, but I'm not going to demand it. I'm not going to go and say, how dare you not celebrate my best-selling book? How dare you not get me a cake on the anniversary of this whatever project it is, or this milestone celebration? I'll never do that. I just don't. So if that means that I buy myself a cake that day, then I'm going to do that. And I don't care if that makes me a loser, if that makes me, So going back to my, 20s and early 30s, I guess it was. Yeah. Early to mid 30s. I doing this with this company, I would do that. When we had our 2-year anniversary of the syndicated radio show, 3, 4, 5, we had balloons, decorations, we had cake, we had photo ops, we had champagne, we had everything. But that was at my insistence. I'm like, I'm going to celebrate it. If you guys want to come to the party, great. If not, then it's just going to be me in my office, and I'm going to have a good time. I don't need you people, but if you want to come, you're welcome. And we kind of turned it into a thing because, you just sort of celebrate the little things. And to me, they ended up being very big accomplishments and turned my career and my life into what it is now. I mean, I was able to retire at 39 years old. Do you think any of my family members congratulated me? And said, no, I had my mom saying to me, oh my God, well, what, are you just going to live off your savings? Well, that's kind of what savings is at some point. I mean, that's eventually what you do, right? And so I made a shit ton of money doing the radio shows, and that was great. But my mama had to work until she was, mid 60s before she could retire. And she hated her job after. And my dad hated every minute of his as well. And so, you're trying to make me feel bad about this accomplishment. And I'm sitting here going, not working, not happening, cutting that out of my life. Don't need that. You're not going to piss on my parade. You're not going to stomp on I'm going to feel good about what I've done. So if that means cutting you off entirely, I'm okay doing that. And same thing with, brothers or cousins or whoever, is in your life that doesn't do it. I'm fine with that. I'm fine shutting that down and saying, not welcome. And so I think because I did not have those head pats, growing up, oh, good. Oh, that's really good. Oh, good job. Like I've always hated when somebody says to me, oh, I liked your column that you wrote. Oh, I liked your book. I appreciate that, but I don't need that. I know I'm a good writer. I'm a trained journalist. I took creative writing, journalism. I took all those programs and courses in school. I know that I can write. So, it's always kind of a little bit strange when somebody tells you, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like a chef. Maybe, chefs have egos. You've seen those cooking shows. Yes, chef. Fuck that. I'm not calling you yes, chef. God, no. I'm quitting before I'm addressing you like that, like it's some fucking military brigade. But, a chef likes to hear about, how much you love the food and that tasted great. I don't need that ego boost. I just don't. So that's, I think, a big part of it was I did not have that. So I didn't rely on it. I didn't become dependent on that positive reassurance all the time. I didn't have it. And so it's not to say that I find it weird. Did I say that I find it weird? I just, I'm kind of like, great. Thanks for letting me know. It does not, I don't go home and go, oh, that was a nice compliment. I just don't need those to make myself feel better. I don't know. I just don't. So it's not that I'm unappreciative. I just don't need that to feel good about myself. And so I think that was what helped build my character in my 20s and 30s was doing my own thing, not giving a shit. If somebody didn't like something, fine. Whatever. You're entitled to your opinion. And I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. If I'm enjoying it and if I like doing it, I'll keep doing it. So I'm going to talk in the next segment about parenting and how I think parents are kind of setting their kids up to have like horribly low self-esteem. We can blame social media, sure, but I think it's also a lot to do with the parents. And I'll explain why coming up on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. Jeremy Bradley here on the Scribble. I'm going to tell you why I said that in just a second, but I want to know your thoughts, by the way. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Do you need compliments to get through the day? Like, do you need to be told, that you look good? One of my friends, she'd said, we were having this debate about how, I have a fitness model husband. Her husband is kind of frumpy. But she just loves being told how good she looks and that she smells good before they go out. And so she asked me, don't you ever, you don't tell Charles that like he looks good? You don't kind of expect those compliments before you go out? And I said, I don't fucking care what I look like when I go out. He does. He's, I said he's a model. He's in fashion, whatever. Fine if he wants them. But I don't tell him like, oh, you look good today. I might say that I like that shirt, but he didn't design it. So, why would he? Well, that's not complimenting him. So yeah, no, and again, that's not to say that I don't love him or appreciate, what he looks like. We just don't have that neediness in the relationship. I don't know. So, but anyway, the good job, buddy. I was at for lunch with my husband, and we were at it was a fast food restaurant, and there was a mom, and I'm assuming it was her kids. You never know, right? Could be a nanny, whatever. But anyway, so let's say it was a mom and her kids. And the kids, of course, were being fussy. I don't know how old they were, probably, 5 or 6, whatever. And they didn't want to eat their French fries. And so they wanted ice cream. And she had to do the whole mom thing of, okay, just one more fry. Okay, just 2 more fries. 2 more fries. And then the kid eats, and then she's fucking congratulating him because he just ate French fries. And I'm sitting there going, am I hearing this? Sorry, wait a second. This is French fries. This isn't like remember back in the day it used to be broccoli or Brussels sprouts or something that, it's gross, I don't want to eat it, but just have one more. Just eat your veggies. But that's fucking French fries. Why, if the kid doesn't want French fries, like, oh, and there was another time we were at a restaurant. The kid was eating pizza. So you're basically having to congratulate and encourage your kid to eat the fucking one food that every kid loves. I didn't get it. So I'm listening to this going, she's seriously patting him on the head and having to, not bribe him, but almost beg him to eat all of his French fries. But he needs that encouragement. That's what's the most striking about this. So you can tell who calls the shots in that household, right? Is that it's going to be the kid. And the mom's got to be the one to, validate and praise him, really. I remember, growing up, my brother, Trevor, was always, not a fussy, well, kind of a fussy eater. And so we would sit at the kitchen table, right? And my mom would put the timer on the microwave and she would leave the room. And so he had to have the plate, whatever it was that he didn't want to eat. He had to have the plate empty, the food eaten, gone, by the time the clock, or the timer beeped on the microwave, right? And so I don't remember how long she would put, 3 minutes or 5, whatever it was. Bottom line was she had a countdown going. And so he would sit there, arms folded, whatever, waiting. First minute, not touching it. Second minute, not touching it. But when it got down to whatever it was, whatever that certain time was that freaked him the fuck out, he started shoveling down the food, right? Because he was just, because he knows that she's going to come in the room when it beeps, beep, 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 and then she's going to see, right? And that was enough, right? She didn't have to beg and plead. It was, I'm putting the timer on. If that food is not eaten by the time, and that was enough. That was enough for us. That was enough. That would be the day. That'll be the day that my mom would congratulate us for eating food. You congratulate when you won the spelling bee. You congratulate when you won at the track meet. You congratulate when you got your driver's license. You congratulate when you graduate high school. You congratulate when you get your first job. You congratulate when whatever. You get what I'm saying here. Real, and if you don't, God, don't have kids. But those are times that you congratulate. You're congratulating your kid. And then there was another one. So the one kid wouldn't eat the fries, and the other kid didn't want to eat his ice cream. And I'm sitting here going, I'm sorry, wait a second, wait. What kid does not want to eat all? That's usually what they go for first, right? I'm going to eat all the ice cream, and then I'm not going to have room for the fries, and so that's that. No. This kid won't finish his ice cream, and mom is again, negotiating, let's say, with the kid to eat the fucking ice cream. And again, I'm ready to go. Like my back was to her, her back was to my, we were sitting in booths or whatever. And then, so I wasn't facing her, but I can hear it, right? And there were so many times I just wanted to turn around. You tap her on the shoulder and go, lady, listen. Because I can just, like I said, I don't know how old the kids are, 5, 6 years old, let's say. You got another 15 years of this, and they are going to run a roughshod over you. They are going to be running that house. These are going to be the kids that you're in the toy store, and the mom is saying, don't touch it. They're going to touch everything. They're going to knock things down. They're going to break things. And the mom's going to be, I told you not to touch it. Well, you know what, lady, they gave you clear indications years ago. They didn't give a shit what you said. But this whole thing, congratulating. Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. One more bite. Good job. You did it. Fuck right off. Sorry, not happening. I don't care for kids, so I'm certainly not going to be a parent anytime soon. But that'll be the day. That will be the day I have to sit there and praise you for eating. Is that that's what parenting has become? That's what parenting has become. So now you fast forward to the generation that's on dating shows right now, and they need that validation. They need to be seen. And I'm sitting here going, where did you not have self-confidence along the line? Because I'm guessing you're from that generation where you got head patting on anything that you did from parents. Right? That's kind of what, and so maybe now that you're an adult, right, and you're on your own, or, you've spread your wings and you're adulting, and you don't have that. So you need that. See where I'm going now? This circles back to what I was saying at the top of the show, right? So you have that reassurance all the time as a kid. Good job, buddy, for eating your French fries. Now you're adult, so you're 20, 25, 30 years old. You're looking for love now, right? It's relationship time of your life. And you need a partner who's going to do that exact same ass kissing, who's going to tell you every single fucking day that you look good. We hear that on these shows, right? I want somebody who tells me that I look good. Thank you for making me feel seen. I need to feel seen. You make yourself feel seen. That is nobody's responsibility, okay? It's just like when you say, well, you make me happy. No, you make yourself happy. And somebody else, saying or giving you a compliment is helping, but that's not, no. It's not anybody's responsibility to make you feel special, loved, seen, whatever. You do that. You feel love, you love yourself, and then that shows through. So that's where I sit here going, I think that, because again, these people in the reality shows are, 20 something, right? So they are from that generation that I was just talking about that had to have that patting on the head, that, we were never, I've got 2 older brothers. We were never in charge of that household. Never. Maybe we thought as teenagers, we kind of ran the show once because we outnumbered our two parents, right? There were three of us, two of them. Never. And then once my brothers got married and moved out, it was just me at home with my parents. And I, was in the basement. I kind of started to formulate my own business at the time. I was in my, early to mid 20s. Yeah, I moved out when I was 25. So early 20s, let's say. And even then I kind of thought, I'm this business person. I don't, whatever. I'm under your roof. Yeah. But you know what? I'm independent. I'm whatever. And once I moved out on my own, I was just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Now I'm free. I don't need, so that's what I say. It's great to have that positive reassurance from people in your life. Sure. Absolutely. It's great to tell you that they loved your book. They love your outfit. You smell nice, love your hair, whatever. Okay, great. But if you don't depend on that, if you haven't had that for, 20 some years of your life, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that it's kind of good. I'm not saying that I'm not playing a victim here. I'm not saying that I've got low self-esteem. Please, I've got plenty of self-esteem. Really. So that's where I just sit here and go, that's how I don't give a shit, is because I did not have that growing up. I didn't have people telling me how wonderful my projects were, how wonderful, how smart I am, how talented I am. I didn't have that. So I didn't become dependent on it. So when now you go to social media, right? And everybody wants, oh my God, your outfit looks so good. Oh my God, you look so, you're needing that. You're just, you're getting that gratification because people are, that attention and that's, again, I have no interest in social media. So that doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't impact me. People could probably be commenting on my Facebook posts or my Instagram post. I haven't posted in however long, weeks, months even. There might be comments, I haven't seen them. I don't fucking care. Do you know how many times I've heard mismatch about my relationship because I've got this tanned, ripped, tattooed, muscle husband from Brazil, and I'm, the scrawny, pale, white kid from Canada, and I don't fucking care. That's your jealousy, and if you want to spend your time fantasizing about being with my husband, who doesn't give two shits about you, go for it. Waste your fucking time. I don't care. I don't understand what that doesn't affect me. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. So, have at her. That's your sad life, not mine. So, that's my whole rant about just not giving a shit. That's the one thing to do, is not look to others for compliments. Find it within yourself. So, when you have, and it could be anything that you've achieved, whether it's professionally, personally, whatever it is, one of is celebrate it. Celebrate it. This is a total simple thing to do. So, let's say that you hate doing one of the chores in the house, like, I don't know, cleaning the oven, the inside of the oven, it gets caked or whatever. Okay, so here's the thing. Well, we've got a cleaning lady, so I'm just giving it as an example because I don't do it. But okay, I hate cleaning the oven, and so here's what we're going to do, is we're going to do a pizza night. Or I'm going to treat myself to something. I'm going to buy myself something nice, or I'm going to, whatever it is. I'm going to buy something online that I've always wanted, or I'm going to splurge on something, or we're going to do whatever it is. You reward yourself then, because now, okay, I'm looking forward to finishing this task, right? Completing the task, getting it done. And now I can go and say, yes, I did it. I know it sounds lame. Trust me. But you get a good feeling and go, okay, you know what? Yeah, now I can reward myself. So I am praising myself. I'm celebrating what I did. I'm not asking for anybody to throw me a parade. I'm not asking for cards and flowers and congratulations from the neighborhood. It's something that I do for myself. And that's how I feel good. And that's what I've done professionally. So like I said, when we have the anniversary, I'm not shitting you, by the way, with our company. And it started just me doing this on my own at home. So if it's the anniversary of me starting my commentary website, the start of our syndicated radio show, the date my best-selling book was released, the day that we started the podcast, the day that we started the country music show, the day that there was a bunch of them in April. I'm forgetting some of them. Whatever it is, but you know what I'm saying. So, all of those dates, we have them marked on a calendar. Some of them are, a few days apart. But there's a cake, or there's balloons, or there's something. And if it's our entire team, wonderful. If it's just me going and buying myself a cake, I'm doing it. And that's, I boost myself up. If people want to assist with that, great. But I'm not solely relying on them to do it. And I never have. And I don't think that I ever will. I don't think that yes, my husband, says that, I'm attractive or whatever, but it's not. So again, send me an email. Tell me your thoughts. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. Are we out of time? We're out of time. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I will talk to you all next time. Bye-bye for now.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up The Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some